You don't need to stand.
Huh? No, you don't need to stand, Brad. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the inaugural episode of Brad Bass's Football Analysis. This is episode 1. We're going to do a quick survey, Brad. I'm your host, Greg Avra. We're going to do a quick survey, Brad. First, let's just jump right into things. Let's talk a little bit about the big news in pro ball these days, which is the Micah Parsons trade. What are your thoughts?
Well, it didn't surprise me because when the deal wasn't getting done, and I think a lot of the perception changed in the minds of fans and ownership when Micah laid down on the table in that last preseason game. But I think there was, my personal take on it is, I think the Cowboys are going to be okay. Brian Schottenheimer had an interview, his press conference earlier today, because their schedules moved up because they're playing this Thursday night, and today was their heavy workout day for the Cowboys. And, you know, I think his take on it is Micah's a great football player, but he's got to go with what he's got, and I think the camaraderie. He mentioned the fact that they voted on their team captains, and they have 16 captains this year. And he was surprised that the votes came in that way. Micah Parsons, moving on from him, I think in the long run is going to benefit the Cowboys because of the draft picks they pick up. Yeah. And with all the money that's dedicated in the salary cap to C.D. Lamb and Dak Prescott, I was listening the other day. If they would have paid Micah Parsons, they would have been the team of all NFL teams where 50%, you know, the salary cap's at $280 million. And if they'd have paid Micah Parsons in that $45 million range with Dak Prescott and C.D. Lamb, their top 3 players would have essentially account for 50% of their salary cap. And I think they can get a lot better players. They did a deal today. They signed DeRon Bland to a long-term contract today. And I think they can fill in their roster with some valuable, not lower tier players, but players that deserve the $7-8 million salaries and build a better team long term. And then have the extra draft picks on the lower salary.
Great insight.
Yeah.
Great insight.
I think they'll be fine going down the road. Is it going to change the season this year for the Cowboys? I don't think so. I really don't. But I think the energy, the big if is the energy in the locker room going to be different with the leadership of Schottenheimer as the head coach and other players being willing to step up and take more of a leadership role in that locker room?
Absolutely.
I think it could be a good year for the Cowboys. They're in the toughest division with the Redskins. Well, I don't know. The NFC North with Micah Parsons at Green Bay may be the toughest division with Minnesota and Detroit. But the Redskins, Eagles, and the Cowboys, that's significant for the NFC East. The NFC South still lags behind. And then you've got, I think the team that won't surprise a lot of people, but it'll be interesting to see what happens with the Rams in the West.
Yeah.
I think they could be as good as they were last year. They ended up losing to the Eagles in the playoffs. But are they going to be that good this year? And I don't know that they will be. And outside of them in Seattle, I think there's no team that can challenge from the NFC West for the title. I don't think there's a team in the NFC South that can.
What do the Chiefs look like this year?
Oh, the Chiefs, they look as good as they've ever looked. People still chasing them. You've got the Ravens, Buffalo. Of course, Ravens play in the AFC North. That division is going to be tough. To allude to what the Cowboys were facing, I think you can look at the Cincinnati Bengals. All their money's tied up in 3 players on the offense. and they don't have enough defensive help to win. I think most people would put them third in that AFC North division, behind Pittsburgh and Baltimore Ravens. AFC East, of course, Buffalo's got to get it done this year. If they don't, I don't know what will happen there, because their chips are all in. It's kind of been interesting to watch the Hard Knocks episodes of Buffalo and kind of see where they're at. But they're really good program. But remember, Harbaugh's building his program in San Diego, and the Chargers. God, shows how old I am. Los Angeles Chargers. The Chargers, I think, could challenge in that AFC West. And then you got Denver sitting there with Sean Payton as the head coach, and a second-year quarterback that could pose some problems. That AFC West is going to be interesting to watch to see if the Chiefs can remain on top in that division. Of course, as long as you've got Pat Mahomes and Andy Reid in charge there, I think they'll be okay. And, you know, Chris Jones on the defensive tackle there for Kansas City. The heart of their team is still put together to win.
Good point. Let's move on to college ball. So we're talking to you from Texas, as you can see from Brad's shirt there. What'd you think about Arch Manning and his debut for UT, and what does the future hold for our Longhorns?
Well, the meme going around of Eli and Peyton saying he was adopted. Maybe not the best day for Arch Manning, but you know, you need to take into consideration the first game of the season. They're on the road. They're playing the previous national champion.
Right.
And I thought Texas had their opportunities. I think most people would agree they had their opportunities. They turned the ball over on downs twice inside the 10-yard line. One of them, you know, half a yard away from scoring a touchdown. If they convert there, then everybody walks away saying, "Oh my, Texas is the number one team in the country." I think the fact that they lost didn't surprise too many people, and I think they'll be fine. Their defense played outstanding, in my opinion, and at the end of the day, a lot of people still claim. And if you look at the teams that were in the college football playoffs last year who went far, they had great defenses is the reason they were in the college football playoffs and advancing. Because defense is still going to win championships at the end of the day, no matter how much high-powered offense is out there. You've got to be able to stop the other team. And I think Texas demonstrated that plenty. But I on the other side of the coin, I think Ohio State proved to everybody that they deserve to be
still strong,
right at the top. Yeah. Of course, Penn State's there. And it'll be interesting to see as the year goes on how some of this shakes out. You know, the fact that Alabama lost yesterday. LSU won big, or LSU went into Clemson, beat ACC. That was a good game yesterday, the LSU Clemson game. But again, no one was impressive offensively. It was about the defenses that both teams put out there on the field. But LSU, for the first time, I guess, in 6 years, won their season opener. So a lot of people in Louisiana and LSU fans ought to be happy, because at least they can say they're still in the hunt for a national championship, and they may very well have the team this year that could challenge.
Who do you think in Division 1A ball is got the potential to surprise this year? Anybody
in Texas?
Yeah.
Texas high school football?
No, let's go to high school ball. We got 10.
You're talking about Division
I was talking
1.
about Division 1.
Well, A&M, you got to respect Mike Elko and the program that he's building there at A&M. But Texas Tech has had a lot of money infused in their program. And I know they were playing Arkansas Pine Bluff last night. Had a weather delay. It even played 8-minute quarters in the second half, I think, just to get the game in. Won 67-7. But don't sleep. I mean, Texas Tech's that remaining Texas school in the Big 12 that really has the recruits and the talent that could surprise a lot of people. Now, I don't know that they're surprising a lot of people. They began the season ranked 23rd in the country. So they should be good, and they've got the talent to be good. But at the end of the day, you know, big upset yesterday came from Tarleton. You know, Tarleton is playing in that FCS, and they got beat out in the playoffs last year by either North Dakota or South Dakota. They went to Army yesterday. Army paid them $250,000 to come beat them. Everybody laughed about that, but it was a double overtime win for Tarleton yesterday. Texas State had a big win yesterday, so a lot of good Texas football. SMU, you know, a lot of people didn't realize where SMU would be, but with the conference they're playing in, they're ranked number 6.
Yeah, they were pretty good last year.
Yeah, and they're ranked number 16 in the country right now as the season begins. So a lot of good college football in Texas. And
all right, so we've covered the pros and we've covered college. I'd like to move on to your absolute specialty, which is Texas high school football. Brad is the play-by-play announcer for the Flatonia Bulldogs down here in Fayette County, Texas. So what does small ball look like these days?
Let me give you some background too, where I think I can even talk about such things. I grew up in Mount Vernon, Texas. Went to college all the way out in Lubbock at Texas Tech. Had lots of friends from towns like Poach, Guadalupe, Spearman, Groover, New Home, you know, Haskell, Stanford. And then I officiated high school football for close to a decade back in the 90s. But then I was a traveling salesman that sold a lot of feed, equipment, farm equipment. I knew every farm and ranch store in Texas just about. And of course, at any farm and ranch store in a small town community, that's a place to gather your information about what kind of football season they're going to have. But I've always enjoyed Texas high school football, and I like the 2A, 3A level because you get the opportunity to see kids walk onto the football field. And a lot now, in some of the larger 3A schools nowadays, you have kids playing only one way. But in a lot of the 2A schools in Texas, and even Division 2, 3A schools, you still have kids that line up on both sides of the ball and just totally exhausted at the end of the game. But they leave it all out there, and that's pretty fun to watch.
Some of them even marching the marching band during halftime.
Yes. I think at Flatonia we've got 3 varsity football players in the band. So, you know, and that's true throughout the state of Texas. If you want to talk about good Texas high school football, though, I think you have to start in Division 2A. You know, I will not be surprised one bit if you see Munster and Shiner playing each other again for the state championship. And I've made the comments. I actually taught school in Munster in the late 80s. And I live in Flatonia, which is 18, 19 miles north of Shiner. I tell people all the time, you could flip-flop those 2 towns and never know the difference.
Really?
Both German heritage towns. Football's important, athletic. Overall performance of the school is important in both of those communities. And it wouldn't surprise me to see those two teams. But I do think there is the potential in that division to see some teams take a leap forward. Bremond, Bremond is in Region 3. They're loaded with a lot of talent that has been playing together since they were freshmen and sophomores. And a lot of them are juniors and sophomores and seniors and juniors. But a good mix and match of Bremond from last year comes back. I think they may actually be ranked third in the state right now, behind Shiner and Munster. And then you always have Albany Lions. Great historic program out there of constant winning. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Division 1 of 2A is pretty loaded with the same usual suspects. I actually need to look at that a little bit more. I know Ganado, which sits in the Flatonia's district. I think if you look at that district, and then if you go up into East Texas, look at that district that Timpson sits in, pretty competitive football in both Region 3 and 4. Not to slight anything against those teams from West Texas, but really good football. I anticipate Ganado will be very, very strong again. Would like to give a shout out though. Another team in small school 2A though that could surprise some people, I think, is Burton. I talked to their football program guy over there, and they're starting 11 juniors on offense and 10 juniors on defense. And I'm sure some of those are the same players, but Burton historically has always had a good program, and it wouldn't surprise me to see them make a jump this year to challenge where Shiner might be. But in the Division 1, it's going to be, Ganado. I think everybody's pretty much going to have to chase Ganado.
All right.
In 3A ball, this K-Park kid in Winsboro, if you look at that district up in East Texas, you've got Winsboro, Malakoff, Commerce, Mount Vernon, I believe, is in that district as well. But really a stout district. Then you come back down here to South Texas and you look at Columbus and that district. And Columbus lost Friday night, but they lost to Cuero, which is traditionally, and it was a 27-21 ball game. So
close game.
It wasn't a blowout by any imagining, so you would expect. Now, Columbus lost a lot of talent from last year's state championship team, but at the same time, you've got the Yokums and the Hallettsvilles and Edna. This area of South Texas, man, has some tremendous 3A football to match some of that 3A football that you see in East Texas.
Great going.
We're just getting started, so 1 week behind us, and we'll see where things shake out.
Well, I tell you what, we'll that's about 18 minutes of good Texas football chat. We'll throw this up on the YouTube and see what kind of comments we get, and we'll put another video together after we get next week's results. This has been Brad Bass, Texas football pontificator, and your host, Greg Abra. Thanks very much, and we'll talk to you next time.